Are we live? I think we are. What's up, Indies? Happy Indies Live Wednesday. I'm super stoked to be here with you guys. Let me adjust my camera so that it doesn't look like absolute trash. That's a little bit better. Why do bad things happen to good people? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm stoked to dive into some things here with y'all. I hope you guys are all having a great week. If you're here, let me know in the chat. If you can hear me okay, let me know. And we'll kick this thing off. Looks like we've got some comments here on the page. A bunch of good questions, good stuff. Got my coffee ready to go. Yeah, if you guys are here, give me a shout in the chat. I'm pumped to dive into your questions today. If you've got questions, feel free to leave them for me in the chat. Drop a comment on the page, and we'll go through things and get you guys kicked off for the week. It's been a really exciting week. Here we've got a lot of cool stuff happening at the agency. Cirque and Corinne are working on a bunch of cool stuff to get out to you guys. I know activity in the group has been buzzing, and you guys have been getting introduced to Kenny, which is great. Super duper exciting stuff. So I hope everybody is doing really well. Give me a wave if you're here so I know that you guys can hear me. And we'll get this thing rolling in a couple minutes here. I'm going to just hang and wait for some people to pop on in, and then we'll kick it off. Page 9. What's up, man? My mic's a little low. Okay, no worries. Let me pull it over and turn it up. Let me know if that's better. Can you hear me? Also, let me know your first name so I can address you by something other than Page 9 the band. If you want, of course, I can continue to call you by your band name too. That's fine. Whatever your preferred title is, that's cool with me. Hopefully you can hear me better. It's always weird talking to a camera and not having any sounds going on otherwise. But cool, it looks like we've got some good questions here on the page from David, from Robert, from Josh, and from Travis. I'm pumped to dive into these. And like I said, if you guys have any questions for me, those of you that are on here. Oh, Josh, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping in. Cool. I'm glad that that's better. Cool, man. Thanks for hopping in. If any of you other guys are in here, say hello. If you have any follow-up questions or anything that comes up while we're diving into things, give me a shout in the chat, and we'll cover them. But yeah, I'm just going to dive right in and start getting you guys on track and on the path of success. So it looks like our first question here is from David, who says, working on visual content for a new campaign. All I need is a quick view over of the graphics and any feedback favorites that immediately come to mind. 2 links to review. Cool, let's take a look. Oh no. David, I'm going to share my screen with you here, man, but I can't see the content from the links that you sent my way. Let me show you what I mean here. So when I click through, I get a sorry, this content isn't available, and same for the other post. So this may be for a couple different reasons. Maybe you don't have your ads live right now, and that's why, or these posts that were maybe published to your page had been deleted. Not sure what might be going on there, but if you're on the call, let me know what's up. I'd love to take a look at these and give you my feedback, but right now it looks like we're kind of hitting a stuck point. So I'm gonna just keep rolling forward here, and if you pop in, let me know and give me a wave, and we can sort this out, and I can take a look for you. But in the meantime, I'm gonna keep rolling forward, and we'll keep this going. I'm gonna unshare my screen. There we go. Cool. Robert said, "Hey Jack, thanks so much for all you do." You're so welcome, man. Thank you for that. Those are really kind words. Thank you. Few questions, if that's all right. Totally. I've heard from a few places that, all targeting aside, Facebook Ads Manager seems to get better results after the account itself is seasoned. So someone running a campaign whose account is new won't do as well as a seasoned account running the same exact ad and targeting. And what activities would help season an account? Yeah, good question. So the more data that you have accumulated on an ad account and on the Facebook pixel definitely can help with performance, especially when it comes to the type of targeting that you're doing and the types of conversions that you can optimize for. So for example, an ad account that has a lot of pixel data on it for purchase conversions or add to cart, Facebook is going to have more data on the type of people to show your ads and optimize for. So in terms of activities and what sort of things you can do to help season your account, running good traffic. That's really the first thing that I would recommend for any indie that's trying to get more history on their account and build up more and more data. This is also true when it comes to building up things like lookalike audiences. For example, if you're running a fan finder campaign and you're seeding people into a 50% views lookalike audience of that video. The more traffic that you send into that video, quality traffic, the more dialed in that lookalike audience is going to be, and the more accurately that Facebook is going to be able to match that to the types of people that you want to get your ads in front of. So that's the type of thing that that goes on with the idea of seasoning and getting more data into your account. So for example, what you would want to do is you would want to make sure that you're following best practices when it comes to the type of traffic that you're running. Certainly running to only the types of green light countries that we talk about in the training. You don't want to be running to any of the bot-laden countries for targeting. That will help you keep clean data in your account and won't dirty it up and muddy it up for when Facebook is trying to optimize and build you up new audiences. So that's just an example of some of the stuff to think about when it comes to seasoning. But really what activities help to season account is just running traffic and running traffic in a way that that we talk about in all of our trainings. When it comes to running top of funnel traffic, make sure that you're putting your fan finder video in front of the right audiences, the right types of people, doing your targeting and doing your interest targeting based on the cheat sheet that you put together, and the audiences that you're trying to reach out to based on your music, and making sure that you're targeting proper green light countries. That's going to give you good data and help you to season your account. Beyond that, the types of campaigns that you're running as far as your e-commerce, the more add to carts that you're getting in your pixel. So making sure that your pages are pixeled correctly, so that as people are coming in, Facebook's seeing those people coming in for things like view content, things like initiate checkout, add to cart, purchases. The more that you can get onto those pixel events, the more that more data Facebook is going to have on the people, and be able to show ads to more people that look like them when you do targeting. So that's the idea of seasoning your account. It's just giving Facebook as much data as you possibly can for different levels of what you're looking to do, different objectives. So I hope that makes sense. Kind of a long-winded roundabout answer, but I hope that clears up any confusion that you might have. Basically, you just want to make sure that, for one, you're running traffic in the right way and not targeting any bad countries. At the top of funnel especially, that's really, really important. And then making sure that all of your pages are pixeled correctly, so that as you're driving traffic into your funnels and onto your store and onto your website, that those people are getting pixeled so that Facebook is getting data on them. Those are all things that you can do to help season your account, so that when you do run, for example, a conversions campaign to purchases, Facebook's not burning out your ad spend trying to find the right types of people to optimize for purchases, and you're not wasting money. Basically, what will happen then is, once you've got an account that's becoming seasoned and has a lot of data on it, you can run for things like straight to add to carts or straight to purchase, and Facebook will put the ads in front of the people that it knows, based on your account data, that it knows are going to actually take that conversion, take that activity that you want them to do. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you're in here. Give me a shout. Tagged you in David's photos in the group if you want to see those to answer his question. Oh, perfect. Josh, thanks, man. I'll look at that right now. Let me just wrap up Robert's question here. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense, Robert. Your second question, I'll be mailing jewel case CDs. What type of mailing do you recommend with ShipStation? Two things on that. First class mail works well, and as far as the packaging goes, these self-seal multi-depth mailers are good. Typically they'll work better to prevent breakage, rather than like a bubble mailer. So check these out. These work really well. I can also drop the link in the chat so that you have it. But that works well. And then number 3, do you guys normally recommend having a video on the upsell, e.g. the t-shirt page? There's a spot for one in the share funnels template. If so, do you have any examples that I could check out? So I've run album launch funnels that have done both. I don't necessarily have a recommendation either way. I wouldn't say that it's something that you need to do or it's something that you don't need to do. I think if you're someone that is really enthusiastic on camera, and your product is something that you can be enthusiastic about, and you could talk about it in a VSL, it would be really awesome to be able to do that and to explain what it is, how they're getting it for a discount. If you've got video creative of friends or fans wearing whatever the upsell is, for example, in this case, a t-shirt, those are all cool things that you could add into a video on the OTO upsell page. So just things to think about there. I don't have any specific examples off the top of my head. I'd have to troll the group a little bit to see what's going on there. But I would definitely search around in the group, because there may have been people who have done that. Like I said, for the most part, in a number of the album launches that I've been running recently, we haven't had videos on the upsell page, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. You definitely should test it out, especially if it's, if you're somebody that really likes to be on camera and you're enthusiastic and your fans are used to seeing you on camera. I think it could be something of huge benefit, especially it gives you the chance to explain to them, what it is, how they're getting the discount, how it relates to your launch. All those sorts of things can be really cool. And if you can explain them in a video, that's even cooler. So just some stuff to think about there. Let me know if that makes sense, man. And hopefully it helped. I'm going to hop in here and check out the tag that Josh just hit me with. All right, let's see. Going into the Indies group, going into the Indies group. Here we go. Cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. Josh, thanks for tagging me, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Indie's working on art for poster and ebook for this year's campaign. Feedback's favorites. All right, let's take a peek here. Color wheel, kind of like a Pink Floyd sort of vibe. Oh, behind the wheel. This is cool. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, man, that looks really... Okay, so... David, these are cool. I think, personally speaking, my favorites are these last few. I think these color wheel, color wheel, color wheel, I think these look a little stocky, in my opinion. I think you could probably add some flair into it, potentially in your font up here, your typeface. I think you could add some flair into that to make it a little less stock looking. I really like this behind the wheel graphic. Really, really cool. I like the imagery of the desert road here, the mountainous desert road, and how that's all black and white, and you get the color in your sort of centerpiece here. That looks really, really dope. I dig that a lot. So I think taking elements of this and moving it into this poster could be really, really cool. I think it gives, this feels like it has more like a bit more of like a personal touch behind it. I don't know. It's kind of my knee-jerk reaction there. Flipping between these two, flipping between these two, I actually really like how this one flips, and you've got the yellow to red to purple circle down here. I think it just makes it pop a little bit more, and I don't lose like focus on the lettering at all. So I think I dig that a little bit more, and you can kind of see the road a little bit better here. Like I immediately connect with the fact that that's a road. So thinking just some thinking points on that. I also really like this book. This booklet look. I think on this, like, it's starting to get a little busy because you've got like leaves, you've got the book, you've got the road, you've got, you know, the circle with behind the wheel going on here. So I think in terms of that, I like this second one a little bit better with the book and the background with the leaves. One thing I would say is if you can add some or reduce the opacity of this circle so that it blurs the background of the book a little bit, because I kind of feel like I lose the focus on behind the wheel because these letterings on the book are sort of getting in my eyesight a little bit. But again, I like the black and white imagery in the background juxtaposed with the like neon-y pastel colors in the logo. That's pretty cool. I really dig that. Same sort of feeling that I had about the posters here in this graphic. I think these I think are really cool. Like I said, I think that these have like some real personality behind them and kind of evokes like an emotional response, especially because like you're on a road, it's behind the wheel, like you're thinking about, you know, being in a car. This doesn't necessarily, the color wheel idea, I'm not really grasping what that is, and maybe with context that would be fine, but for right now I don't have any context on what it is. So hopefully this helps. I think you could just spice these poster graphics up a little bit, maybe with some of the ideas that you've got going on here. Even if you were to just take this kind of handwritten typeface and implement it into this poster, I think could help take it to the next level. Or having some of that background imagery of the desert and the road. If you could make that a part of this composition, I think that could work really well. But just some ideas there. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm not sure if you're in the call with us right now. I don't think so, but hopefully when you get a chance to go back and take a peek at this, it's helpful. Those are just my thoughts for now. Feel free to follow up on this post in the in the group here. I'm actually going to drop you a comment. Hey David, just left you some notes on this in INDIESLIVE. Hope it helps. Feel free to drop your follow-up thoughts and ideas here. Cool. Yeah, man, let me know if this is helpful. I hope that it is. Just want to get the creative brainstorming going with you. Cool. Good stuff. Thanks again, Josh, for sharing that. Let's move on. Oh, okay, cool. Josh, you got a question. Threw this on GChat, but not sure if it went through. So my bad if you see this twice. This is my first time seeing it, so no sweat. I've been running some campaigns this past weekend, my first through, since through plays were so heavily implemented and are now the default selection for video views, and I've gotten a pretty visible dip in results. I'm getting about half the views I was getting, both when selecting through play and in campaigns I still ran as 10-second video views just to test. I ran an advertising branch of my own agency, so I was able to test this across multiple ads, creative headlines over the past weekend, and they're all coming in with similar results. Are you guys experiencing this? What are your thoughts on this? It's not just views that have a drop-off, but also reactions, social proof, etc. My guess is they're trying to optimize the machine learning in the ad platform for higher quality viewers, but it seems to be in turn making the results we were getting before now twice as expensive. It's fine if that's how they want to do it through play, but the fact that even switching back to 10-second video views is the objective doesn't make the results go back to the results I've gotten in the past is a little unsettling. It seems as though cost for video views has now gotten twice as expensive, but I hope I'm wrong about that and I'm just missing something. Hey Josh, yeah, good question, man. I personally haven't seen any serious dip in fan finder results in the past few weeks in this way that would be alarming to me. If you have a chance, let me know what you're seeing as far as your results. Is it your cost per 10-second view that's dipping? I know you mentioned it's kind of across the board here, but more specifically, like, have you seen like the difference of like, you know, a cent or two at the 10-second video view optimization? Have your 3-second video views really spiked up in cost, you know, over a cent? Are you seeing like uneven distribution across your percentage levels as far as like 25% to 50%, 50 to 75, so on and so forth? Let me know what you're seeing there, and also let me know if you have any idea of what you're seeing CPM wise. Let me know on that and I can help you kind of compare, but I really haven't seen too much of anything like that. A lot of the fan finders that we've been running with our agency clients at IndieX have been pretty much chugging along the way that they were. Not too much of an issue from any optimization. I do know that since we're getting towards the end of Q1 here, a lot of big box advertisers are flooding the ad space, so there likely is some rising CPM going on, so that might be something that you're dealing with. But let me know what you got going on. Oh, I can send you a couple example videos. Yeah, cool, man. Let me know, and let me know about some of those stats, and I can kind of give you some ideas on what we're seeing here, just comparatively speaking. I'm taking a look at some ad accounts right now for you. No, still cheap CPMs there. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I'm just having a look here, man. For the most part, what we're seeing fairly normal results as far as fan finders go. Not any big alarming dips in performance that I'm seeing. Typically, we're seeing like 3-second video views between, you know, 2/10, 3/10, half a cent, around there, maybe a little higher depending on the artist and what they're targeting and what their, you know, how their fan finder is performing. But generally that's what we're seeing, and we're seeing the 10-second video views still around a cent, maybe a little bit less, generally speaking. But yeah, I mean, better for some accounts, obviously, for people who are having, you know, viral success and things like that. But typically, yeah, I haven't seen anything like this yet, so I'm curious what might be going on there. Thanks for sharing, for sure. Hopefully we can help you get to the bottom of it. Feel free to drop me any of the stats, or if you want me to check out the videos, happy to take a look on that too. But yeah, just wanted to share my thoughts with you on that. Hopefully it gives you some insight as to what we've got going on. In the meantime, I'm gonna just keep going through and answering some questions here, and I'll circle back with you. Just let me know in the chat when you've got some stuff to look at. And of course, now the comments have disappeared for some reason. What's going on with that? Okay, cool, here we go. Travis said, "Hey Jack, I posted this in the group and thought I would try here as well. Started running my first opt-in for my fan finder in 24 hours, and after 24 hours getting poor results. I'm hoping I can get brutal honest feedback on how I can improve the opt-in ad and landing page. Currently running conversions campaign 75% video views with an audience of 4,500, 95% with an audience of 5,000, and a page engagement of 4,800. Wondering if I should be adjusting the objective within the ad set. Lots of different options in the optimization and delivery section, which I haven't seen any training on, including landing page views, link clicks, impressions, or daily unique reach. Also, the whole conversion window thing is super confusing. Running a budget of just $20 per day, but going to pull the plug on this ad and adjust once I compile some feedback from you. Very smart people. Open to all feedback, please." Cool. Let's take a look at that and see what you've got going on, man. Let me hop over to the group and check out Travis. Okay, cool. I'm gonna drop my screen share here. All right, cool. So Travis, here's your post. All right, so here's your video. Sign up before time runs out. Join the Wayward Transmissions online interactive launch experience. Come join Wayward Transmissions, truly unique online and interactive and free album launch experience. Starts in May 2019, so sign up before it's too late. Click the link below to sign up. Okay, cool. So Travis, without knowing specifically what you mean by poor results, I assume you mean you're not getting leads at a cost that is acceptable to you, or you're just not getting them in fast enough. A couple things at your ad that I can definitely make suggestions on. So first things first, the first thing that a lot of people see when they see a Facebook ad is this headline, sign up before time runs out. If I was on Facebook, and even if I was introduced to you properly through a fan finder, this is something that probably wouldn't catch my eye. So I would suggest changing this to something along the lines of, get my album for free before time runs out, or get my new album for free. Get Wayward Transmissions on album for free. That kind of thing. Something that will catch people's attention, because sign up before time runs out doesn't really tell them anything. And if they're not curious and they haven't read any other pieces of the copy, you're probably losing them there. Same thing goes here in your ad copy, right? Come join Wayward Transmissions, truly unique online interactive and free album launch experience. What I would suggest is going straight for something a little more direct and saying, like, I'm giving away my new album for free, or my new record comes out in May, and guess what, I'm giving it away for free. And then you could go into the Wayward Transmissions album launch experience is going to be truly unique. It's going to be an online experience, totally interactive, and it starts in May 2019. All you have to do is click the link below to sign up, and you'll get the record for free, and they can watch your video here to get all the details from you. I checked out the video before we hopped in here, and the video, I think,
Releasing a brand new
nice pattern interrupt here with waving. I think that's cool. I liked that you went through in the video different clips of you performing and things like that. I think that was, you know, a good kind of showing of what's going to be in the performance. I think you explained it pretty well. So my initial thoughts are more so on the ad copy side of things. I think being a little more explicit in your headline here, meaning like the first line of your ad copy, and saying, I want to give away my new record for free, or I want you to have my new album totally free, because you're probably losing people at this idea of an album launch experience, not really knowing what that is. So starting off with the fact that they're going to get the music for free, and then you can dive into a little bit further what that is. And as I mentioned here in your newsfeed headline, your bottom headline under the video, I definitely would suggest changing that, I think, to something that would catch people's attention a little bit better. Down here in the description, the link description, you could say something along the lines of get Wayward Transmission's new record, 5 songs for free in an online interactive experience during this album launch, or something like that. That sort of thing would work, I think, work a little bit better to be more descriptive. So just to give you an example, let's take a look at your landing page, and I can give you some examples on the ad copy. Okay, so you could say, join my online, get my record for free online, or get all 5 songs for free online, the stories behind the music and unreleased bonus content for free. Just click below, or just click here. That's what you could have in the newsfeed link description. So just some ideas there. I think being a little more explicit in your ad copy, you might be losing people on what this actually is and what they're seeing. So just those are my immediate thoughts on that. Hopefully that's helpful. With regards to the landing page, let's take a look here. Okay, mobile. Okay, so I see you've got some cover art here, kind of explaining. So again, without knowing stats that you're attributing and saying that they're not, you know, not the best results, not the results that you want. If it's, you know, if you're getting link clicks and you're not getting opt-ins, I think that there's some things that you could do to spice up this landing page, the squeeze page. Right now, the gray and white background, I mean, it's very like minimal, which is cool, and a lot of times that works really well. But I think if I were to land on this page, especially on mobile, and just see text, button, there's not a whole lot going on here to capture my attention. So I would suggest changing this headline to something along the lines of get the Wayward Transmission Sessions, my new EP for free. And then under that have a sub headline talking about all 5 songs, the stories behind the music, unreleased bonus content. Go into a little more detail into what that content is. Is it live performances? Is it stories? Is it, you know, video clips of the recording sessions? I think talk about that and try to get that in a sub headline here, and get some sort of creative on this page, because right now when I'm taken to it, it sort of just looks like a gray page. There's like some weird spacing going on here. Doesn't really tell me as a viewer a whole lot of what's going on. It's cool that you've got be the first to hear my latest EP before it's released. You've got this stuff below, you know, below the button here. But I think grabbing their attention in this headline definitely would help. And there's, like I said, you've got a lot of space to do it. There's some empty room here. So I think capturing their attention in that way would be definitely advised. So hopefully that helps, just to give you a little bit of an idea and an audit on both the ad copy and this squeeze page. But yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, just making this a little more engaging, maybe add, like I said, a creative or a VSL here, just going into it a little bit further, kind of like you did in the ad video. I would suggest making it another front-facing type video of you, where you're talking about what it is and how excited you are to give people the new record, why you wanted to make it this way. And I think that that would be helpful. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that, man. Without knowing, like I said, specifically what stats you're struggling with. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an overview of some things that I would probably tweak first. But yeah, hopefully that helps and gets you on the right track. I'll keep an eye out in the group for updates from you, and hopefully it gets things kicking. Good luck, man. I'm gonna refresh the page here and see if any other comments have come in. Josh, if you're still in here, let me know if you want me to take a peek at anything for you. More than happy to look at what you've got going on. Just let me know. Otherwise, it looks like we covered most of the comments. So Josh, if you have any follow-up questions, anything you want to go over, man, I am all ears. You have me as a captive audience. If anybody else is in here, give me a shout. Say hello. If you've got anything that you're working on, I'd love to check it out and see what's happening. Give you my feedback. Answer any questions that you might have. What's the best way to send you some of my results for this? If you want to, the best way to do it, I would say just drop a, yeah, actually, you know what? Just drop, this will actually be a good exercise, I think. Something that I've been, you know, really keen on doing on Indies Lives that I have are trying to get more interaction happening in the group with everybody, all the indies that are, you know, participating in here and hanging out, and then take that to out of Indies Live and into the wild of the Indies group. So Josh, would you mind just like grabbing a screenshot of the results that you were talking about and dropping it in the Indies group and just being like, hey, Jack and I were going over some stuff in Indies Live. We're talking about it right now. So go back and, you know, check out the Indies Live session, and we can go over what I was seeing. Maybe talk about your results a little bit and what you were seeing going on, and asking if anybody else in the group has been having that issue as well. That way we can get some cross communication going on there. And then tag me. All that to say, tag me so that I could check it out. Awesome. Thanks, man. I see the post. Let's pull that up here. All right. Okay, cool. I'm going to screen share again. Interesting. Yeah, those are definitely higher than you were getting before. Cost per through play was pretty expensive, but even the cost per 10-second view looks like it was pretty significantly more expensive. Hey Josh, if you don't mind, drop in the comments section here if you could. Show me the CPMs. You can do that by going to your columns in your ads manager and choosing performance and clicks, I think it's called, and just scrolling over to the right and checking out the CPM of those ad sets. Comparatively speaking, I'd like to see if there's any difference there. And give me a heads up, what are you working on as far as these audiences? I see you've got stream video views, IFY video views, the vibe, red wine. Give me a heads up on what those audiences are. That might give us a little more insight into what's going on here. Are they small audiences? Are you doing like fan finder targeting where you're building up artist-based ad sets, let me know. That might give us a better idea as well, because with smaller audiences, you're going to generally see higher costs. So there might be something going on with that as well. Cool, good stuff. Fan finder targeting, cool. Artist based, gotcha. Okay, cool. Green light countries, I imagine, going to full international green lights. And they're all in the recommended sweet spots. Okay, cool. So it sounds like that's all set. Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder what we've got going on here. Like I said, I really haven't seen too much of that happening just yet, at least. If that does start to happen, we'll definitely let all of y'all know. I know right around the holidays, right around Christmas time, we were experiencing much higher CPMs compared to even previous like Black Friday holiday seasons. And we were seeing it even at fan finder level, which was unusual. So I wonder what's going on with this. Cool. Big 6 only. Awesome. Well, it looks like we've got some other questions. While I'm waiting for you, Josh, Chase Walker Band. Hey, what's up? What would be considered a good % opt-in to page view? Good question. So typically what we look for is you want a good opt-in rate, I would say, is like, a really good opt-in rate is like 40%. That's something that we talk about in the Ultimate Album Launch training. But I would say, like, if you can get an opt-in rate like around like the 25% to 40%, you're usually in a pretty good spot. Obviously the higher the better, and that's more optimal. But I would say, like, if you're getting opt-ins below 25%, then you want to look into your opt-in page and seek out areas where you might be able to improve it. But that's what I would start with, kind of as a spectrum there. So hopefully that helps. And then, how much does link above the fold in Facebook ad text matter on an ad with a call to action button? I'm not totally sure I understand the question. I think you might be asking, is it important to have a link in your ad copy if you've got an ad with a CTA button, for example, like an opt-in ad for your permission campaign? I think it's just a nice helpful thing to have. You can make it look clean using Bitly. It's just one extra place where people can click. So I would say if you can include it, great. If you're running an ad and it's working fine without, and it was something that you had set up, you don't necessarily need to go in and fix it, especially if you've got a banging ad with a lot of social proof. But I think it's just a nice to have if you can fit it in there in a way that's tasteful and doesn't blow up the page with a huge link. So yeah, that's my thoughts on there. I usually include one. Chase Walker Band. Let me know your first name. I'm not sure which one of the band members I'm talking to, so give me a heads up. And if you have any other questions, let me know. Happy to help. Thanks for hopping in. Appreciate it. Let me refresh the group here. Okay, cool, Josh. I got your next screenshot. Let me share my screen again just so that I can point out. Okay, cool. So what it looks like, I'm going to just flip back and forth here real quick. Okay, so these are the top 3, and then these bottom 2. Yeah, so interesting. Your CPMs have gone up a little bit. Looking like they've gotten up to like $3 here in these top 3 ad sets, and $2 in these lower ones, which were performing better. So yeah, I mean, the rising CPMs might have something to do with the results that you're seeing. That's one of my thoughts on this. That you might see going on, which, you know, could be related to, like I said, ad inventory, just having space taken up as like people are flooding things here at the end of Q1. So that could be something that is impacting your results. What might make sense to do is to just create a new video views campaign and start optimizing back again for 10-second views in a separate campaign. That might kind of reset what you had happening here. A lot of times, if a campaign starts to tank, that's oftentimes one of my pivots, is to just duplicate with the optimization that I want to use, and then go from there. So yeah, let me know if that's helpful, man. It does look like your CPMs have risen up a little bit, which might have something to do with what's going on here in terms of your fan finder performance. So yeah, let me know if that helps. I know it's not the most clear-cut answer, but in terms of what we're seeing, yeah, I really haven't seen too much of that right now. Like I said, if that starts to happen, I'll definitely report back to you and let you know that you're not crazy, and that it's happening to other people too. But I am curious to see if anybody else is having similar issues right now. Please drop a comment on Josh's post and let us know. Right now, I haven't seen any issues, and I haven't gotten any reports from the rest of the team on this either. So yeah, really, really interesting. If it's the same targeting, same video, and this is kind of what's been going on. Yeah, I mean, flipping back to, like I said, flipping to a 10-second video views optimization in a separate campaign may be helpful, just to see if you can kind of force it to do what it should do. But other than that, it may be a time of year kind of thing. Let me know if there are any other variables that I might be missing here, but these are kind of just some of my initial thoughts on things. Hopefully this helps. Thanks for sharing too, Josh. I appreciate it. Yeah, that is really weird. It's the views for the same budget is cut in half. Same with social proof. Yeah, that's really strange. Could you show me one last thing? Sorry, I'm gonna make you go crazy here. Could you hop in and do video engagement and grab me a screenshot of your ads manager and drop that in and show me the splits between your video views percentages? I think that would be one other good thing for us to check out. But yeah, that's really, really weird. Anyway, let me know about that. I'll keep an eye on the group for a post from you on that, and we can touch base on that last little bit. Oh, Denise, cool. Hey, thanks for hopping in. I hope I was able to answer your question. And thanks for joining us. Yeah, hopefully it is just a time of year sort of thing. The weird thing, one of the more recent ones, I did 10-second video views with a new campaign and got higher cost per results as well. Man, yeah, that's really, really strange. It may just be a time of the year kind of thing, and a lot of times we don't start to see the wide-reaching effects of that right away. So maybe that's why you're starting to see it, and I haven't necessarily seen it in campaigns that have been running and optimized for a while. I haven't kicked off a new fan finder campaign in probably about a week and a half or so. So that might be something that because I haven't launched one, I've just been running ones and optimizing them as they, ones that have been kind of going and just generating listeners. That might have something to do with it as well, that it could just be a time of a year and launch sort of thing. But that is really interesting that the CPM shot up like that, and that your views and engagement cut in half. Really strange. Yeah, the last thing I want to check is just the splits between the percentages. I'm going to refresh real quick to see if there's any other comments as we kind of get ready to wind down here. Oh, the last thing I wanted to touch on for Travis real quick, sorry, just to come back to this, is he had some questions about different options in the optimization and delivery section. Generally speaking, you want to stick to conversions. I usually go straight for leads, honestly, for most cases with album launch. What you basically want to be able to do is you want to be able to give Facebook 50 conversions in the course of a week, so that it can optimize the ads appropriately. So if you think you can get 50 opt-ins within a week, then typically you want to go for conversions, and going for leads is a good way to do that. I wouldn't go for optimizing for landing page views, link clicks, impressions, or unique daily reach. The conversion window, typically the default, I believe, is 7 days click, 1 day view. You want to just leave it at that. What that does is it gives Facebook 7 days, 7 days from the click to attribute an opt-in to that ad set. If you change it to 1 day's click, for example, then Facebook's going to start looking for 50 conversions in 1 day. So you want to keep it to that 7 day window. So you can just leave that as is. In terms of optimization, if you're not getting the 50 leads in 1 week, people to the thank you page of your opt-in funnel, that's where you could start to consider maybe stepping it back one conversion event. So if you've got view content on your squeeze page, you could start to optimize for that. That would be similar to optimizing for landing page views or clicks. So just something to think about there. But generally speaking, I go straight for leads, and usually that performs best. In most cases that I've done it, I haven't really seen a need to go for traffic or link clicks or anything like that. So hopefully that helps. I know that section can be a little overwhelming in terms of what you're seeing. It kind of makes you feel like you're inside a submarine. One other thing that I wanted to mention worth going towards was you might want to include if you're not getting the opt-ins that you want, you might want to consider adding in that 50% video views audience, just to give a little bit of a wider reach. That way some more people can be included, especially if you're at a grassroots level. It might help you to get the number of opt-ins that you need. So something to think about there, Travis. Hopefully it helps. Cool. Thanks, Josh. I'm going to take a look at that right now for you. All right, so let's see here. Okay, generally speaking, with a few small discrepancies in this Julian Cairns video ad set or campaign name. Yeah, just with that, there's a little bit of a discrepancy there. Not really the 50% drop off that we look for, but otherwise these are in good shape. Typically what we look for is like 50% drop off between each percentage mark. So you're in good shape there, especially in this ad set. I mean, you're hardly losing people at all, which is good. Same thing here. Yeah, so all in all all of these for the most part are in good shape. So there's nothing worrisome in that aspect that I would be super concerned about. It's the front end that's interesting. The higher CPMs, the higher cost per 3-second view, the higher cost per 10-second view, the lower number of engagements. Yeah. So thanks for sharing this, Josh. I'm honestly not super sure about what's going on here. It may be a time of year thing, like I said, just with the higher CPMs. That's one thing that leads me to think that might be what you have going on. Other than that, I don't know how differentiated these audiences are. Like if these are, if you've tested any of, say for example, do you have any test data on like page 9 Liz interview 1 video views, 2 months ago versus what you're seeing now? If any of those audiences are exactly the same, like if you've got like a Julian Kearns ad set somewhere else, where it was an identical audience, and the only setting that had changed recently was that switch to through plays, and how you're seeing the same, now you're seeing the same issue where through plays and 10-second video views are seeing poorer results. If you've got any data to compare on, like from ad set to ad set, audience to audience, same thing, that would be something worth looking at as well. But yeah, otherwise I would say what might be worth trying out at this stage might be to pop in a lookalike audience, and see if you can outperform, or at least come close to performing the way that you were previously, and hopefully for certain outperforming what's been happening in the past 2 weeks or so. That would probably be my other suggestion, is pull a lookalike audience in there, see if you can knock it out of the park with that. Try the tweaks that I mentioned with regards to a duplicate campaign, although I know you already mentioned having done that. So going with a lookalike might be something that will help you move it in the direction that you want it to go. So yeah, let me know if any of that is helpful. I hope that it at least was helpful to, unpack this with somebody else and try to figure out what was going on. It may just be a time of the year thing, but thanks for sharing. I'll keep you in the loop if I start seeing anything like this on our end. And I'm going to just refresh the page one more time, see if we got any last comments as we're kind of winding down here. Denise and Josh, let me know if you guys have any final questions. If anybody else is in here and you guys have questions, let me know. Totally happy to help, but I think we covered everything in the comments, which is dope. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me and going over stuff. Josh, that sounds good, man. Let us know how the lookalikes go. I hope that moves it in the direction that it should be going in. One thing I would say is, like, take a peek at your CPMs shortly after the ad set starts getting some spend on it. And if you're still seeing high CPMs, then what you might be dealing with is just a time of the year sort of thing, and maybe it hasn't hit what we're seeing yet. But keep us in the loop. I'm really curious to hear what happens. Feel free to keep posting in the group, and I'll keep an eye out for it. But thanks for hopping in and being so awesome and engaged. I appreciate it, man. I think that's it for today then. It was good hanging out with you guys. Thanks for tuning in for another Indies Live. Keep each other in the loop in the group. Oh, that rhymes. That's cool. Keep each other in the loop in the group. I love it. Keep each other in the loop. It's always good to see you guys interacting in there, and to get this indie community going strong. It's a really inspiring thing for me to see. So thank you guys for helping each other. Thank you guys for helping us and keeping us in the loop of what you're doing. It's super appreciated. It's always kind of fueling the fire and getting the gears turning creatively in our heads. So I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. All across the board at what we're doing at Indiepreneur, from everything at the agency to the rest of the company. We all really appreciate it. So anyway, I'm done with my sappy rant. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll catch you next time. Oh, Denise, you caught me. Good. Can you just quickly walk through what sequence you typically do testing? Do you start with audience and then go test creative or other? Denise, when you're what in particular are you What in particular are you curious about? Do you mean for like fan finder posts? Let me know specifically, like when it comes to testing, what kind of testing are you asking about? Just any kind of ads, or a specific type. Let me know, because I can probably tailor my answer towards a little more specifically what you're looking for. I'm glad you caught me. That's a great question. Well, in the meantime, while I wait for your response, just to give you some ideas, typically speaking with fan finders, what I like to do is I like to set up a number of different audiences. Set up the way that we go over in the fan finder training, differentiated artist-based audiences based on influences, and you can set that up using the fan finder cheat sheet. That's typically what we do, even at the agency when we're setting up fan finder campaigns. And then we'll test headlines in those ad sets and let Facebook optimize for the top performer. And then from there, in sequence, we'll start to turn off ad sets that are suboptimal performing. So it kind of happens like that. We'll let Facebook determine which ad creative is performing best, and then from there, we'll start to chop off ad sets, audiences, and tweak from there. So that's kind of like a fan finder focused. Oh, you already did a fan finder. Okay, well that's kind of how I optimize fan finders. I let Facebook do some of the heavy lifting on the creative side, and unless I see like a big discrepancy between where Facebook is pushing things, I'll usually let the engagement and the reactions on the post kind of steer my direction on which one I think is doing best. As far as just, general testing, what I like to do for like opt-ins, for example, like typically I'm running to like an all warm audience. So I'm putting all of our warm audiences into one ad set. So this might include your page engagement, your Instagram engagement, your video views audiences, your list. A lot of times I'll include all of that into one big bulky ad set, to give Facebook as much volume of people as we can. And then for creatives in that, there's a couple ways that I've been doing it recently. One is using dynamic creative and letting Facebook just choose the creative based on the different variables that I give it, and then it puts the best combination in front of people. I've been seeing some pretty solid success with that. Excuse me. Some pretty solid success with that for opt-in campaigns, which is cool. Other than that, usually I'll set up a couple different variants of ad copy and a couple different variants of image or video, and just test them against each other. Let Facebook pick out the first one. It'll start to optimize your spend towards one. Usually it does a pretty good job of doing that, but again, I let social proof kind of steer the direction, and usually the social proof lines up with click-through rate, and so I can kind of use those metrics, comments, likes, shares, and click-through rate to that post, and I can kind of use that to steer which one I think is going to be the top performer if it turns out that the one Facebook is optimizing for. And when I say optimizing for, I mean pushing all your ad spend to, if the one that Facebook is optimizing for doesn't seem to be matching up what I think it should be. So hopefully that helps. That's kind of my process. Corinne's Greenlight Warmth INDIESLIVE is a dope resource for that, Denise. Yeah, definitely. Check out the Greenlight Warmth resource. That's it's in the ground report section of Indie Pro. So that will definitely be helpful too. Kind of walks through the process of setting up that type of campaign, which is cool because it uses a lot of the sort of education style posts that you might be posting on your Facebook page throughout the course of like a given week, and content that you're sharing regularly, and just giving that some extra lift and extended reach. What's cool about that is it will, looking at that training, that ground report, goes into the types of content and the types of creative that you're putting out there, which also applies to any other kind of advertising that you're doing, really. So hopefully that'll help as well. But yeah, that's a little bit of my process and what I typically do. I honestly let Facebook do a lot of the heavy lifting with things like dynamic creative now. It's been really, really cool, and it's been working well for me at the opt-in level. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if that answers your question. Yeah, no problem, Denise. I'm glad that it helped. Josh said I tend to run those for new content or for tours, etc. Yeah, man, I do the same thing. For new content, the Greenlight Warmth campaign is a great, a super, super good campaign to run. It's low budget. It just gives extra life to the stuff that you're putting out there. And I find that it's particularly useful for, like, if you feel like, oh man, like I can't keep up with like putting content out to people. It just allows you to put your best stuff in front of the people who need to see it. And that way, you know, it's just giving it a little bit of extra life, which organic reach is down, and you can't always you can't always expect that the people who need to see your stuff are seeing it just because you're posting it. So yeah, I do the same thing. It's really helpful in that regard. So depending on what you're working to advertise, Denise, I think that you know, running a Greenlight Warmth campaign just at a low budget would definitely be helpful as well. For things like opt-ins and different types of video views campaigns, that type of optimization that I talked about, where I'm kind of letting Facebook do the heavy lifting when it comes to split testing creative, and then knocking out audiences. If I'm going for cold audiences, you can usually knock them out pretty quickly depending on how they're performing against one another. If you're going for warm audiences, I almost always like to lump them together unless I have a specific reason not to, like I want to only advertise to, you know, a certain subset of people. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And definitely check out the training. I think that you'll enjoy it. It's definitely good. Well, cool. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you hopping in with me again. I'm not going to get sappy with you here, but thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you guys next week, and I'll see you out there. Have a good one.